So, hi everyone out there in computer YouTube land. Um, this is my review. You may notice that it's not labeled The World According to Bob. This is my book review of Sandman. I actually did this a couple weeks before when you're watching it. Yeah. Um, I've heard that they're gonna do all the rest of the Sandman saga. And it didn't feature my favorite Sandman, Wesley Dodds. Well, it did, but in a very minor role. I'd like to see more of him. That's my first complaint. Perhaps he could be included in the next audio drama. Um, Although, if they fixed it so Kingdom Come didn't happen, that would make me very sad too. Because Wesley Dodds, the way he dies in Kingdom Come, just that that strikes me as very fitting. Um, I liked how Neil Gaiman himself reviewed the book, or goddamn, not reviewed, narrated the book. It it was very professionally done. I think Professor X, James McAvoy, couldn't have done a better job as Dream. Um, I I really liked how it kind of hopped around in time, and based on what I already knew of the book, and I like how I knew about the serial killer convention, that that happened in the book. Um, it was interesting to see all these little moments and how they tied together. On that note, I would like to see what happened to Hob Gadling in the next one, which Hob Gadling is like the guy that is functionally immortal. He keeps requesting stays on death and such. Yeah, he made Dream made a wager with death, and it turned out that Hob eventually. See, I know kind of what happens because I've seen clips of him with a as a head on a plate, but yeah, I don't know how he became a head on a plate. And that wasn't even the weirdest thing in this book. Yeah. Um, I don't know what book it was. I think it was just Sandman Overture. Or maybe it was the very first one. Not the prequel. That's Overture. Because that's the one I picked up. Yeah. Um, so I am anxiously waiting to see how the little pieces that I know about the story are going to tie in with one another, especially that they didn't include Hawkman in this volume. I say in this volume because there's always still time. As long as we're not dreaming ourselves, there's always still time. See, I tried to be poetic. I tried to be as eloquent as this book, but and things were put in very nice little bows. They established the rules. They established sleeping sickness is a thing in that universe. Um, which reminded me of that movie with Robert De Niro. If anyone knows the name, I was trying to explain to Mom what happened to the grandmother of Rose Walker when I was trying to think of the name of the book. Movie. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name of the movie, and I'll be damned if I couldn't think of it. I mean, I can see the plot clear as day. We watched it in psychology class. And then I watched it again on like HBO. But sleeping sickness in the Sandman universe kind of worked kind of like that. And that made me wonder how it would have affected the world had they captured Death instead of Dream. Yeah, Dream gets captured in this. And that's what causes Wesley Dodd's sickness. That's what causes a lot of things. It it had a peaceful domino effect until it eventually became not so peaceful. And um it it took you down like roads like Dr. Destiny, which is weird because I remember him from the the JL the JSA run of the comics that I picked up. The one where they crossed over with the JSA. The JSA crossed over with the JLA. I remember Dr. Destiny being in there. I knew we'd have to survive because of that. And I know that this is kind of canon to the DC, the regular DC universe, because this was by Vertigo. God, that needed some explaining. And the regular DC universe now has, I don't want to spoil it, but the baby the 50 Sandman was carrying, the baby the baby that the 50 Sandman's wife was carrying, there you go, becomes something very important, as things often do in stories like that. And they established Dream throughout other cultures, and it was just very, very, very neat. Because Dream didn't always have the same voice. Like for the African Dream, he was African, and there was like Anansi, and it was just cool. Um, and for regular Dream, like I said, is James McAvoy, second Professor X. And I would, I hope Death is as neat sounding in real life as Kat Dunning's was on this book, because yeah, honestly, Neil Gaiman's version of that 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 concept, what was felt like something it felt like something I could hang out with. It felt very, and there was mention of like Rex Metamorpho, and they just tied it in with the DC universe rather nicely. And they brought in a few characters I wanted to live, but they didn't. This book wasn't afraid to show unhappy endings. I mean, I have a part in mind that I don't want to spoil, but um, I kind of feel I have to illustrate my point. Death actually sat down with this lady just because just because she saw her crying, and she's like, "No, I'm not here for you." And she explained how she's everywhere at once. It was really cool, and it made her sound more powerful than the Flash. My brief exposure to the Neil Gaiman death was her brief appearance at Action Comics, some high number where she talks to Lex Luthor and just, yeah, tells him that that eventually even it will even come for him. But yeah, again, really good job. And they made it clear that you don't toy with Dream in Dreams. That is his playground, and that is where that he is more powerful than any of the other avatars of that have called themselves the Sandman. He's not like Wesley Dodds, where he's just some guy in a cloak doing good. He's not like the one that ended up being a dream. I don't know if they changed that and that was supposed to be Hawkman, I wonder. But but that character did exist. But Dream's more powerful than him. Dream's more powerful than any other thing that has called themselves Sandman, except maybe the one in Dark Knight's Metal. Which, and you kind of get to see a bit of Constantine's lineage. Um, Again, the Hobgoblin story was really really cool because in the Hobgoblin story, one of Constantine's relatives show up, and remember, you, I'm sure if you've read this, you remember that that they accuse him of being the Wandering Jew, was which is and was another one of my favorite characters, the Phantom Stranger. But Phantom Stranger is not in this book. I'm not gonna get your hopes up there. I mean, there's no. This was way before Justice League Dark, way before any of that. This was just. This was the first time anyone had ever tried to my knowledge, write a Sandman with such nuance, I guess would be the word, where all these characters tied together. Again, I'd love to see how the story wraps up in the next volume. I hope that this does well enough. Buy it on Audible. This is not an endorsement for Audible in any way, shape, or form, but it was awesome. It was quite an experience. I just really enjoyed it. Um, if you guys know what the next Sandman would have been or is, let me know, because I'd like to read them in order or patiently wait for the audio book. Anyway, fun experience. I'm rambling. Bob out.